Zach Heilman, USFL Newsroom. I'm going to ask you for Zach Heilman is. Just wanted to ask you, and kind of relating to your guys' unit, and really between you and Josh, you two both landing on the all USFL team as both kickoff and punt returning members for that squad. What does that mean to have that all-encompassing factor, just to identify and kind of, I guess, show that you guys, made that much of an impact this year on that side of the ball, the third phase that doesn't always get us off the block.
I think we're kind of just figureheads for what is the room. The special teams unit is, like you said, it's a brotherhood, and so we're the people with the ball. But Josh will tell you, like, he can't go 1-on-11. That's just it's impossible. So the football aspect of football is that everyone's working together, and it's the same thing with punt. I can't go 1-on-11. So even though we were all USFLs, like, we're humble enough to understand that we can't do that without our teammates and without everybody else on the field. But nonetheless, it's very special, and yeah, I get chills from it because it's just a lot of work goes into this game, and a lot of people don't disrespect, but they kind of disregard the third phase of football, which is special teams, and we set up field position. The number one goal of the play is to have the ball, and so not only to have the ball but to make the play, it's a special deal. And so yeah, we're really blessed with that, with those honors from the league.
Josh, you want to talk about that?
I'm just blessed really to be here. Thankful for all my teammates and the coaches for giving me the opportunity to be able to achieve all USFL as a kick returner. And like Ian said, we just go out there and make plays for each other. We can't do it without one another. And yeah, that's really it. We can't do it without one another.
Chris, with your NFL experience and being a late addition from the Maulers, can you imagine having this amount of fun with the Maulers, and you ever thought that they were going to be a contender like they are right now?
This is the most fun I think I've had playing football. Besides high school, like with your friends and everything, everybody you've grown up with. But this has been, I think, one of the best environments. I could see it at practice. It's just putting those pieces together, getting it to click at the right time. You could see it, and coaches talked about it. We all knew it going into all these games that we can be here, we should be here. It's the most fun. Coach has seen it, putting all the pieces together. It's like these guys getting all the USFL. All those pieces are coming together.
Chris, last week had that big kick, the 59-yarder. Just the swagger that you kick with, it kind of transcribes throughout the team. Can you talk about just, as the kicker, a lot of times you kind of look past, look over, but on this team, you won with the defense, of course, but you won a game scoring all the points that the team scored. Can you just kind of talk about being a leader even in a position that we've talked about kind of gets looked over, or a phase that gets looked over?
I wouldn't say like any chance that I would get to be on the field is because either they helped set it up with their return, the offense got down there, the defense got a turnover. I don't drive the ball. I'm on the sideline watching them drive the ball, doing all the hard work. And then again, even for the field goals, I'm the 11th person in that play to do their job. So I got all 10 other guys in front of me. So I can't even really say like being that guy was like it's everybody else, and then just me trying to do my job for the guys next to me, or all the guys who did all that hard work driving. I want to be able to show up for them, sort of thing.
Thank you.
Josh, what does it mean to you to play in the championship after the journey that you guys have had this year?
It means a lot. Excuse me. It means a lot to us. Coach Horton always coming there and saying we handle our own destiny. So everything that we want is right here in front of us. So we just got to go out there and prove it to everybody else that's doubting us.
For Isiah, most people football players dream of playing for a championship. You're 24 hours away from playing for one. What's going through your head right now as you guys are getting ready to go out and play for the trophy over there?
It's a lot of fun to just get ready and just to get here. I was telling the guys earlier, I lost a championship game in high school. My brother won the Super Bowl with the Rams, So I've been on both sides of winning, and I love winning a lot more. And Coach said earlier, it's like all the nerves are kind of gone because we were more nervous last week because of how close we were to the championship. But now that we're here, some people don't think we belong, but that kind of doesn't matter because regardless of what the seasons look like, there's 2 teams left to play, and we're one of them. And so just trusting everybody in the locker room, and just, these are some of the best friends we're going to have, just because it's very much like the USFL kind of set up the teams like a college atmosphere in terms of, the NFL, you go on with 100 guys, and 45 of those guys get cut, whereas we came in with 58 and 8 guys left, and that was it. So we've been with the same group of guys for 3 months, almost 4 months, and so the championship is, you almost playing more for the person next to you than you're playing for yourself, and so that's the beauty of football, because we can't do it by ourselves.
Matt, what do you think about that?
I can't do my job without anybody else at this table or in that locker room. Again, 40 guys dress, 40 people dress for a game. That means starters are playing special teams. There are no backups playing special teams. Everybody's tired, everybody's fighting, but they all trust each other. Just that part, and going back to the chemistry part, I think that just adds to playing for the championship. Just the bond itself is pretty dope. Probably won't get that in the NFL. Parts change all over the place. Other leagues, parts change all over the place constantly. Here, it's just been the same group of dudes throughout the whole season, and it's been growth throughout the whole season to just be here. So to play for a championship with these same men that we've been growing with, it's fun.
Josh, what do you think about that?
Like I said earlier, I'm blessed to be here with a great group of men, and I'm just thankful that they accepted me, because I know what they went through last year, and the whole thing this year was just revenge tour. So they accepted me as a brother, and the rest is history. We're just gonna keep doing what we got to do and show up tomorrow.
Chris, considering your collegiate background at the University of Pittsburgh, how does it feel to play for the Pittsburgh Maulers?
Feels pretty cool, just like coming back home, although I thought at first I was going to be going up to Pittsburgh, and then Canton, 2 hours west. But still, it's cool to play for Pittsburgh again, because I know obviously I lived up there, fans and people behind it. I still have friends in the area, and just the amount of driver, it feels more like a big town, so like everybody's behind you. It feels like, but it's fun to be back in Pittsburgh. You can, but playing for Pittsburgh again, that's great.
Tezino, obviously all USFL season, you've been just a rock solid player for them all year long. What can you say about the team's mindset heading into this game? You're facing off against arguably the best offense in the league. You know how hard it is to stop a guy like Alex Magoo, who's just doing everything on the field right now. Just what's the mindset heading into this one compared to just some of the other games?
You just had an underdog mentality, because we know we're the underdogs coming in, so you just gotta take that mentality and tell your team that, we're the underdogs, so come out and play like we're the underdogs and wish for the best.
Zach Allen, USFL Newsroom. Question for all 3 on the panel. Heart and soul of the defense here is you guys, along with likes of Boogie Roberts and many others. And I think a lot of that, from what we can tell this year, was based on coaching staff and kind of the return of that core with Jaron Horton, defense coordinator company. Can you speak to that coaching staff? Just thoughts on year over year and the mindset taking from, I guess, worst to first, as they would put it?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think in general, Coach has done a good job, Coach Ray as well as Jaron, of just letting us know that we do have a standard every day that we got to uphold. I think last year, we had the pieces, but we just couldn't find the way to put it together. And I think this year, with the additional pieces, Mark, even as such, and a few other individuals kind of stepping up and us just continue to play together, I think our coaching staff has done a good job of keeping us consistent, with the ups and downs of the season. So kudos to them, making sure that we're prepared week in and week out.
Yeah, pretty picking back off what he said, coaches, you know, we've been the same team. We just couldn't put it together last year. And as you can see, we put it together this year. Started off kind of slow, but we finished strong, and I think that's the most important part. You rate us on our finish. So.
Yeah, same thing they both said. I think this coaching staff does a really good job of just being player coaches, you know, allowing us to play our game, allowing us to be comfortable out there. And when you do that, you see guys buy in a lot faster. And even as a whole unit, you know, you see, you know, on Saturday game days we playing on one accord. And I think that starts with, you know, the coaching style and how they run this.
Question is for Mark. I've heard people dubbing the term Gilbert Island. You've been on a tear this season, led the league 4 interceptions, 15 passes defense. What can you say about the success you've had this year, taking on really the toughest assignment every single week, and just what you're seeing out there with the defense?
I mean, credit goes out to the other 10 guys that's out there with it. I have to make the plays that come my way, and they're confident that I can make the plays that come my way. But then, you know, them believing in me, that also helps me go out there on Saturday and do my part. I want 11. So, you know, I can't do what I do if I don't have a good pass rush. You know, I can't do what I do if my safety, you know, is not communicating with me. So, you know, I do go out there and make the plays that come my way, but there's so much before that goes on. It's a key part into my success.
You have a question? No, go ahead.
We just talked to, this is for anybody up there, we just talked to the special team guys, and they were talking about this is the most fun they've had part of a football team since high school. Is that just with them, with their little group, or is that really filtered throughout the entire team?
I feel like it's felt throughout the entire organization. We always talk about being a family and, you know, spending time with each other. I feel like the hub has allowed us to do that a little bit more, where, you know, it was 8 of us last year. So, you know, it was just a lot of people there. You run into people that you know, went to school with, things like that. But this year, I think, you know, we've just came together really well. And I think it showed, I mean, you know, in close games, you know, showing up for each other, you know, playing for each other of all 3 phases. You know, we're very fortunate to have a good organization and a good, you know, family chemistry.
Guys, Mark, you kind of alluded to about you wouldn't have where you are because of the pass rush. You guys want to shout a little more how the defense run made a major difference for you guys because you guys were flying around with the turnovers. But obviously, started with the defense run. How much they set the tone for you guys on defense?
They said it. They pretty much make the defense go. Without them, we wouldn't have all these turnovers, all these picks without them. I mean, truthfully, I tell them every day, they're literally the drivers of this car that we're driving right now. Like they make this defense go, and they know that. So just be ready for them to have a very big game.
Yeah, I think like you said, they trying to bust me in, but we can't. If we covering all day, you know what I'm saying, none of the turnovers that we have made, we make. So, you know, credit goes out to them for being a dominant force in this league.
This is really for any of you guys. Can you guys talk about how the defense's journey this year and how you guys have really grown and connected with one another?
Yeah, I just think as you know, we kind of all alluded to earlier, I think us just coming together, not only as a defense, but even as a team, has helped out a lot. I think since game 1, you know, I think the thing that you'll probably hear from everybody who comes up here, offense, defense, and special team, is like the belief that we've all had in each other, and we just kind of had to put it together. But to speak for the defense, particularly, you know, we communicate, we have fun, you know, we enjoy being around each other. You know, we trust each other. I think that's one of the biggest things. In all levels, that's what they were basically saying earlier. Is like our D line, you know, we trust them, they trust us, linebackers all around. So I think that's been the biggest thing. And as the season's gone on and we've had really close games, and you know, we're winning, and you know, we feel confident now. I think that trust continues to grow, you know, and we believe in ourselves from top to bottom.
do you think about that?
No, I mean, yeah, like he said, I think this hub pretty much, cause I like he said last year, you know, in Birmingham we were all 8 teams. So my thing was I had actually told Tarp this, you know, you kind of like go live with people who you know you've been in college with or longtime friends, and you really couldn't really gel with your team there. So once we moved out here, I feel like our team got extremely close, like in a hurry too. So I got closer with a lot of these guys. Like these guys right here are gonna be my guys for life. Like anything they ever need, they can always call me. And that goes just for the whole entire team. So it's truly a blessing to be able to gel with those guys as fast as we did, and to see the difference as you can see from this year until last year. So yeah, it's just a blessing.
Mark, why don't you finish up?
We bond a lot off the field. We bond a lot, and I think that can make a difference on any team. You know, especially like a year that this team had last year. Like you said, with all the teams kind of being together, but then us being in Kansas specifically this year, kind of being more secluded in our own area. It has allowed us to really bond off the field. All of that just transfers onto the field.
Kyahva, you come in, win, loss, today, your expressions are always the same. Can you talk about flipping that switch once you get between the lines?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have that switch because you know it's football. You know, it's a business at the end of the day. Some things aren't meant to take personal. Some things you can take personal within yourself, but you gotta know where you at and kind of like level yourself. So for me, I always try to stay the same and stay level-headed. So when I come up here, you know, you guys are never gonna get like a difference out of me. I'm always gonna be the same person. So, but on that field, obviously, I turned up a little switch. It's different. And I think everybody who plays football can announce that you got to be a different guy to play football. You can't just be this guy I'm up here now. I know I portray like a little nice guy, but when I get on there, I'm mean. So, but yeah.
My question is for Tarpley. You grew up in Pittsburgh. You grew up playing football in Pittsburgh. What does it mean to you to now play for a USFL championship with the Pittsburgh Maulers?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing, you know, to even have this opportunity. I think I was telling somebody earlier, but Pittsburgh has a sense of pride with all of its sports: Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, and you know, had a black and gold, which I think was cool that we kind of made that switch. It's something that not only the city, but you know, myself, you know, was happy to be able to do. But I think that this season has kind of shown what that Pittsburgh swag, if you want to call it, is about. You know, the grit, you know, working hard, persevering, you know, staying resilient. So just to be able to, you know, compete for a championship and go out here and, you know, put on is a blessing.
So this is for everyone. So all year, you guys have been considered the underdog. Even though now you're in the championship game, you led the North, I'd say you're probably still considered the underdog. When we look at your last matchup with the Stallions, it was one possession game. What's the difference between then and now? How are you going to shake off the underdog and prove the world wrong?
That's a good question.
We're not the same team. We clicking right now. But the last time we played them, I felt like y'all seen spurts of what we were capable of. As you've seen throughout as the season progressed, we're an entirely different team right now. Both sides of the ball, playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of swag, and we see the narrative, but we don't think we're underdogs. You know what I'm saying? We know that we're meant to be there. You know, we put the time and work in to be here. So you know, we got all the confidence in the world that we're gonna go out there and
Okay. I wanted to do this with my players first, but we'll do it all together. There's a couple things that's going on. I'm gonna make an opening statement first. I'll give you a statement for you guys to have, and then we'll talk. Everybody's been asking the last 2 days about my lawsuit against the NFL. I'm gonna make a statement, and I won't take any questions on it because I don't feel this is the stage to talk about myself. It's about the accomplishments of the Pittsburgh Maulers in the USFL championship game that we're here to celebrate. But at the same time, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, and I said no pun intended towards Dr. Seuss. And if you understand one of his books, you'll understand that. So here's my statement. I feel What we have as a team accomplished this year by going from worst to first took a combination of motivational and intellectual acuity, organizational skill, the ability to establish a culture built on respect, hard work, and professionalism. I believe one of the core tenets of a great head coach is to elevate a group of athletes to heights that they did not know they can achieve by themselves. With that being said, we've had a great week of practice. These guys are like fine-tuned, thoroughbred horses that are now in the gate, and all they're doing is waiting for that gate to open, and they're gonna sprint. That's my opening statement, and I'd love to hear from my players.
Thank you, Coach. James, why don't you go ahead and ask a question?
My question is for Coach. A few weeks ago, we were in this room. You guys had lost to the Houston Gamblers, heartbreaker, 2-6. You were 4th in the division. That remarkable turnaround these final few weeks, and now all of a sudden you're playing for the championship and you won the division. Just what went into that? What went into the change and just the belief that you had in yourself, the players, everyone else involved to get to this point?
Well, if you remember that game, we were kicking a field goal, I'm gonna say from the 35-yard line to 25-yard line, and everybody believed it was gonna go in. Everybody did, but it didn't, and we didn't blink. We have played so many close games in this league, and the only game that we were not in from the beginning was Memphis, down in Memphis. They beat us. They actually whooped us. They took us behind the shed and pulled our pants down and whooped us. And we own that. All the other games have been so close, and as you know, or may not know, last night Michael Irvin from the Dallas Cowboys talked, and he brought up our 1-15 year that I was on, and so was he, and so was Daryl Johnson. And to me, that's part of life. You're not always going to win. You're going to have struggles. And we were 1-9 last year. I wasn't here. Troy wasn't here, but we owned it. That's part of our legacy, part of our team. And we embraced it, and we took it, and we accepted it. And we said, but we're not going back there. And this team, these players had trust in me. I had trust in them once we figured out what we were doing. And we didn't blink. And we kept talking about, we control our destiny. We're in this. And obviously the South had a better record than we did in the North. But today we talked about the 2005 Pittsburgh Steelers that I was a member of. And we were a very good team. We went through some injuries in the middle of the season. We had some losses, but we kept saying, they better not let us get in. They did let us get in Pittsburgh, and they let us get in here. So what turned it around? Nothing turned it around. We were always going in that direction, but every once in a while you got to bail a little water out of the ship. And so once we patched the holes, here we are.
Questions?
Coach, does it have like similar feeling compared to your time when you were playing with or you were coaching with the Super Bowl team? Does it have that similar feeling compared to being in the USFL championship?
Yes, it does. And here's what I mean. These men up here and the men that came before you, they're great athletes that want to get better. They want the person in charge of them to get them better. And they don't care how, whether it's giving them a hug, a pat on the back, or a kick in the rear end. They don't care. They just want you to get them better. That's what we're charged with, is getting this team better. And we have. Our best football is still in front of us. Birmingham better watch out. We're ready to play. And I don't care that they go, oh, well, what's he saying? We're ready to play.
Boogie, having been here for both seasons, playing in Birmingham, Canton, and kind of being with the teams at like 1-9 to now being in a position to play in the championship, how much does it mean to you to have, been with this group and, watch them from the start get to where they are today?
It's been amazing, at the end of the year, it was easy. I could have jumped ship, went somewhere else and been frustrated because we had a tough year, but the grass isn't always greener. And I went through hell with our team last year. We had a lot of tough losses, and I just wanted to get that feeling because I knew we were right there. We were right there. We were just a couple missing ingredients away. And to be honest, Troy Williams was that missing ingredient. So just for everything to come to fruition and us to get to this point, it means the world because I didn't quit. I didn't walk away from the guys, and to get here with the guys that you struggle with, it makes the success even better.
Troy, most of the eyes are mostly on the defensive side, but can you talk more about the growth of what you see from your offense and how they just week after week has been improving, even improving in your game, man. What do people would expect about this offense going against Birmingham's defense?
You know, we've just been focusing on getting better each week, and you know, a big part of that is realizing what areas you're weak in and owning that. Like Coach just said, we own that loss in Memphis. So it's about looking yourself in the mirror, taking accountability for your mistakes or whatever the case may be. And I feel like we've done that, and we've been eager to move past our failures earlier in the season. So we just been focused on, like I said, getting better each week, and the confidence has just been, you see it in each guy's face, and the O-line, and the receivers, and myself, and running backs, even with Coach Thomason, play calling, just the whole offensive unit just coming together as one, and and things outside the locker room as well, like eating with the O-line, and just becoming more of a bond, and definitely has translated to the field here late in the season.
Everyone's goal is to win a championship, and football players' goal is to win a championship. What are you guys thinking 24 hours from now? You're going to be playing. What's going through your mind right now as you prepare for the game?
Boogie, why don't you start?
Well, I try to stay where my feet are. We have a saying like, be present, because it's easy for us to look forward and look ahead, but when you look ahead, you forget about the journey and what you went through to get here. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm more in a reflection stage and looking back at last year, everything we went through to get here. We were 1-9, they laughed at our jerseys, they laughed at everything we were doing. They didn't give us a chance, so we came in with that chip on our shoulder. So I just want to embrace that moment right now with my teammates. This is the last time we shared the field with each other in practice. We hugged and everything. So that's really what it's about. Everything that's going to happen in the game is going to happen. We're prepared, we're ready. So I just want to enjoy this moment as opposed to looking ahead. And that's kind of been the mindset of the team.
Troy?
Just like same thing he said, just being present. Of course, we acknowledge, it's a big game. This is everything that we've asked for. This is the moment we've asked for. Couldn't ask for another better team, one of the best teams in the league in Birmingham. So in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I feel like when you come into big games like this, of course you realize how big the opportunity is. But for me, the best thing is just to stay calm and just let the game come to me, and just have fun. That's another thing I feel like sometimes guys forget about. These types of games are supposed to be fun. When you imagine them at home and think about the moment, just in your brain, it's always fun. It's always a good thing to think about. So, definitely excited to get out there and have some fun.
Zach Common, USFL Newsroom. Question for Coach Horton. We've had players throughout these panels today express the trust that they are given in each other for this coaching staff. How would you elaborate on that, and at least what you're trusting in your players to execute, as well as how you're hitting your stride at this same time right now during this course of the season?
I cannot speak for them because I'm not in their head and body and emotions and what they think about me. I know earlier in the season, one of our running jokes is he tried to turn me in. I know it was him, and that was part of it, part of the trust. And I told him we're gonna do things different. It's not the way they're used to. And trust is built. It's like respect. Nobody gives it to you. You got to earn it. And we've had a long journey, and I think the trust, I think it's there. I can't speak for them, but for instance, I can't remember the game, but I made a quarterback switch during the game because we weren't moving the ball. And I don't know if he remembers the word I told him, but I said, I love you. You're my starting quarterback, but I'm putting James in. And to me, that's trust that, when those man love things that men don't say, I love you, but I told this kid, I said, I love you. I said, you're my starting quarterback. And I think Boogie and I have had a pretty good relationship from day one, and he keeps saying he's gonna come out to my house and all that stuff. But I said, not so fast. But why they trusted me, I don't know. You have to ask them. I never asked because it wasn't important.
Boogie, why don't you break?
I've trusted him since day one because everybody's dreams and goals is to get where he's been. He's been to the pinnacle as a player and as a coach. So when he speaks, you listen, and he commands the room, and He's just a cool, calm guy. He doesn't rah-rah too much, and he comes across as genuine, and he wants to get you better. And from day one, I've respected that about him, and then also his son. You know, you're a representation of how you were brought up, and I love his son, Jaron. He's an amazing coach, deserving to be a head coach. So when his dad was coming in, I'm like, oh, he just has to be as special as you, and he hasn't let me down. He's trusted in me to do certain things and lead the team certain ways, and I've respected him, and he's amazing.
Troy, that quarterback coach bond, can you talk about it?
It's been good. It's been good throughout the whole year. For me, you know, since I've been in so many different rooms, quarterback rooms, and just throughout my whole journey, you know, it's kind of tough for me to, you know, just give my all into someone or a coach without, you know, having to go through something or it just takes me a while to feel somebody out, you know, especially when it comes to football and just, you know, my past relationships. So, but when I do have that trust and I do want to connect, you know, I'm ready to run through a wall for my coach, my teammates, and that's just how I'm built. You know, if I feel like you got my back, then I definitely have yours. So I feel like we've been able to build that throughout the season, and like I said, you know, I'll run through a brick wall for coach, for the teammates, and every coach on the staff. So this has been, you know, one of the best relationships I've had, you know, being a professional on a team and being in a quarterback room. So I'm definitely grateful for this opportunity Coach Horton has given me, and just opening up to me, well, not all the way, but a little bit, enough to build a great relationship. So it's been good.
Boogie, obviously we're here because you guys are playing tomorrow in the championship, but I think we'd be remiss not to bring up the fact that you're up for the Sportsman of the Year award. Mr. Johnson's getting ready to announce that. Can you just talk about what an honor it is even to be up for such an award?
It's an honor because it was voted on by my peers. You know, it wasn't media given, it wasn't just a fan vote and things like that, a popularity vote, because I'm one of the fan favorites. My peers thought of me that way, and that means a lot. When the people that you go to war with every day and things like that think of you that highly, that's what really meant so much to me. So, and also just giving back to the community and also being a dominant force on the field. But the main thing that stood out when Coach nominated me is I knew it was a teammate vote, and when your guys think of you that way, that there's no better feeling.
And I would echo that. Boogie has done an outstanding job of being a great citizen to our community. He will do anything for anybody, and he represents what we as professional athletes in the USFL stand for. He is out in the community, he supports our community, and he's a member of our community.
Thank you, sir.
Troy, Boogie, Coach mentioned about Michael Irvin coming to speaking to you guys up yesterday. Just from a player's perspective, what were some of the takeaways that you got from listening to Michael Irvin, a Hall of Famer himself, and just how much that is motivating of how you guys want to elevate your game?
Really just his story of coming from nothing to something, you know, him taking us all the way back to day one when it was about 12 to 13 kids in one house to where he is now. He talked about how he has to do some self-talk every morning he wakes up. He didn't just become successful, he has to work at it and things like that. Nothing was given to him. And also that no matter where you start, you never know where you're gonna finish. He talked about undrafted guys that he were teammates with, and now they're Hall of Famers, no matter how big and small they are. So just giving us that glimpse of hope that we can be anything we want to be, and he's a prime example of it. And, you know, I look up to him because he's everything I want to be. You know, he was in the NFL, he has a great personality, and then now he's doing broadcasting and doing other things outside of football, but he's still giving back to the game. And just to be able to see somebody that I watch on First Take every morning and things like that, and for him to be so humble and take pictures and give tips, it was a dream come true for this to happen in the USFL championship game.
For me, you know, of course, his story, you know, him being an inner city kid, you know, it was, you know, I can relate to him and, you know, just envision, you know, his whole journey throughout mine, and just the way he, you know, how passionate he is about the game. You can tell when you watch him play, it comes out of him. You know, when he makes a play, he gonna let you know that, you know, he made the play, and you know that's just from, you know, I'm guessing, you know, everything that he's been through. You know, he's just excited to be on the stage, and you know him competing with
coach, whether it's at practice or the game. You know, his passion about the, you can still see it today. You know, when he was talking to us, he just real passionate, and that's what I pride myself on. I try to stay, you know, as calm as I can throughout the game, but you know, definitely comes out here and there, and I just love, you know, letting people know that, you know, we here, and you know, it definitely took a lot to get here. So the passion for that he has for the game, and just watching his whole journey was very helpful. I feel like for myself.